I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of July 22nd, 2015. My pick of the week this week is one that I didn't expect to pick, and that's Starlord and Kitty Pryde #1. This is part of the Battle World Secret Wars event going on over at Marvel Comics, written by Sam Humphries, artwork by Archie Saya. Yes.
Alti.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so several cool things about this. Number one, Starlord is one of the handful of Marvel characters that actually knows what's going on on Battleworld. He's our Starlord from the Marvel Universe. He was part of the crew, or part of the handful of heroes that was on the raft that Reed Richards or the Future Foundation kids developed, and he's stuck. He can't really reveal that he remembers what happened and where everybody came from, or else he'll be hunted down by Doom and his minions. So, what's he doing? He's leading a nightclub band made up of the members of Peter David's X Factor run. So, that was cool. In the first couple pages we get that. And he's belting out popular Disney songs, which is now legal because Disney owns Marvel, so they get to throw that stuff in there, I suppose. But because no one on Battleworld knows what a Disney movie is. So he's singing these songs that drives the ladies crazy. And he's trying to figure out, where do I go from here? So who should walk into the bar, which is the bar that, what's-his-face?
The Speakeasy, the Quiet Room.
Run by Black Bolt of the Inhumans. Who should walk in but his fiancée? I guess they're engaged. I haven't been reading Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're engaged in the real universe, yes.
In the real universe.
Or in the old universe.
Someone who looks like his fiancée, Kitty Pryde, but it is one of the kiddies of Battleworld who does not know who Starlord is. And that's where the fun happens. We get an appearance by Gambit. We get Drax, who apparently owns the Quiet Room.
I don't think so.
Or maybe he runs the music. He schedules the bands. I'm not sure.
He's more like Peter's manager.
But he's got a pompadour. So
yes,
Drax has a pompadour and has a wicked sense of humor. This was just so much fun, and the artwork gets an A+ for me. The artwork by Archie Saya, who I've never heard of before, which is really weird that I haven't heard of an artist in comics before. It's very kind of Disney animation-esque to some degree. When the girls are making all wide-eyed at Star-Lord, they look like Disney princesses. It's very in this guy who is like Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast,
except not a candlestick.
No. The artwork is top-notch in this book, and the writing is fun, and to read a character who knows what's going on, but is trying to figure out a way out within Battleworld is all kinds of awesome. So this was just the complete package this week. Great story, amazing artwork, lots of fun.
It's continuing our love affair with Secret Wars. I've got a twofer for you. We've got Old Man Logan #3, written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Andrea Sorrentino, which is continuing awesome. Basically, they just took one of my favorite versions of Wolverine and sent him on a whirlwind tour of Battleworld. He just jumps into different realities and has conflicts with people, and it's just super cool to see all these different Elseworlds interacting through the eyes of a character that I like. And Future Imperfect by Peter David with art by Greg Land. This is one Mark and I have both talked about every issue, and it's really, really good. We keep talking about how Greg Land's art is better. There's a shot in here where he draws a woman. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like Greg Land, because I forgot that he was drawing the book. Because it just doesn't look like him. But
it's the one with Ruby.
Yeah.
It's trademark Greg Land. It's a pose, an expression that he's used 100 times before.
But Future Imperfect is super awesome. If you like Peter David's work, if you like the Hulk, you should totally be reading it. So, Secret Wars is awesome.
It is. Another new book this week, this time from DC Comics, Cyborg #1. This is written by... I should know these things. I should have notes or something. I can tell you
they put it on the cover.
The artwork is by Ivan Rice. It's just a last name. And this is one of the new guys over at DC. David Walker is the writer. Artwork by Ivan Rice or Reese. I've never been a huge fan of Cyborg. I don't know if it's because Teen Titans really wasn't my thing. I was more of an X-Men fan when it was kind of, Teen Titans was the answer to X-Men or vice versa at Marvel. So I didn't read a lot of Cyborg when I was younger. And then as a member of Justice League, I don't think really Cyborg has had a chance to come into his own as a member of the Justice League because he's on a team with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, these established powerhouses. But there have been some very kind of emotional situations with Cyborg over in Justice League. And this spins out of what's going on over in the Darkseid War in Justice League. And it gives us a glimpse into... It tells you everything you need to know, basically. It does what a great comic should. It brings you up to speed. You learn everything you really need to know about the character of Vic Stone, a.k.a. Cyborg. And he's going through some stuff. And he's gone back to... Is it Star Labs? I don't remember where his dad works.
It is Star Labs.
Where his dad is a scientist, and he's a very cold, detached father figure. But he needs some assistance because his tech is kind of weird and he's growing back human parts, or I don't know what's going on. But right. The bottom line is that it's a very, it feels like a very personal story where you get to really learn a lot about the character of Cyborg. The bad guys, the kind of bookend story in here is about some sort of aliens that are searching for technology that's calling to them. I don't really care about that. I'm sure it's going to have some... some major influence in the story, but for me, the real bonus of this book is getting a fresh look at the character of Cyborg and hopefully giving him a chance to stand on his own.
My next pick this week was Book of Death, The Fall of Bloodshot. Now, as Book of Death, which we talked about last week, is the big event going on at Valiant, crossing the vast majority of their characters into one big fight about the Geomancers. There are a number of one-shots sprinkled throughout that are called Fall of X, Fall of Ninjak, Fall of Bloodshot, Fall of Exo Man of War. And they're self-contained. In this case, at least, it's written by the writer of the regular series, Jeff Lemire, who's been writing Bloodshot Reborn, which we really enjoyed. And basically we get a sort of, I'm going to assume, Elseworldsy tale where we see the death of Bloodshot, kind of like those Marvel The End books they did back in the day, where you're going forward through time. And I actually could give a crap about the death of Bloodshot, but the stories as he goes through time are really cool. I'm a Doctor Who fan. I like those long-lived characters that can experience all these different things over time. Not dissimilar to the way Wolverine does when we revealed his past stuff. But we've got him being a pirate with Armstrong from Archer and Armstrong, who's also borderline immortal. And we've got him living among the Inuits and in the far future fighting robots. And it's a very cool, fun story. And I really enjoyed it. So if you're doing the main Book of Death or you're enjoying Bloodshot Reborn, I think Fall of Bloodshot would be a good checkout for you.
So someone who is not familiar with the character of Bloodshot, can they pick this up?
Actually, you can, because I'm going to be honest, outside of Bloodshot Reborn, I know next to nothing about Bloodshot.
Well, you know more than 99% of the population because
right.
You're reading Bloodshot Reborn.
Right. Yeah, really, as long as you just accept that there's something keeping this guy alive for a long time, it's really just a very human tale about the pains of being immortal. Or he's not immortal because it's called Fall of Bloodshot. He's going to die by the end. But and also, if you enjoy Jurassic Bark, the episode of Futurama with Fry and his dog, the ending of this one might make your heart break a little bit, which is good in this case.
Okay. My final selection this week is Archie versus Sharknado. It's a one-shot, even though it has number 1 on it. It's got number 1, but it's a one-shot. It's a done-in-one. This is released to coincide with Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No, which airs on Sci-Fi tonight, which is Wednesday, so you won't see this until later when it's already aired, but it'll replay on Sci-Fi 3,000 times. If you are a fan of Archie, who's this for? This is for fans of Archie and or fans of Sharknado. There is no way that if you are a fan of either one of those properties that you will dislike this book. It has the goofy, crazy, over-the-topness of Sharknado with the characterizations of the gang from Riverdale that everybody knows and loves. And it's kind of alarming. It's written and drawn in the way that Sharknado is so that you don't really freak out too much when bad stuff happens. Like, there's a scene... I'll give a little bit away here. There's a scene where Sabrina, the teenage witch, is a lifeguard at the beach where the Sharknados are showing up, and she goes to do some magic and puts her arms up, and sharks bite off both of her arms. And it's drawn like an Archie comic, so it's not like horrifying, it's kind of funny, which is weird. So this is filled with pop culture nuggets from Jaws and Evil Dead and all kinds of stuff. You have to really look. There are all kinds of Easter eggs throughout this thing. Archie versus Sharknado. Again, you're a fan of Archie. If you're a fan of Sharknado, you have to pick this up.
And my last pick this week is Birthright, number 9, written by Joshua Williamson, with art by Andre Brezhnev.
Leonid.
Lenny Bruce, then Lister Fact. Birthright we've enjoyed quite a bit. It's the story of a kid that gets lost in a fantasy dimension where he's going to be a hero, comes back aged, and maybe something's going on with him. Actually, if you haven't read the first volume, but he's got some weird force controlling him, possessing him that he's made a deal with. So he maybe is not the hero that we suspect, but he's back here running around with his kid brother, and I sort of distanced myself from it emotionally when they first revealed that he was kind of a bad guy, or maybe working with the bad guys or something, a conflicted character. I didn't really like the characterization of it, but they're bringing me back. The stuff with him and his kid brother in this issue is great, and the emotional payoff is, they telegraphed it a little bit, but it was very super cool. So Birthright is unlike anything else on the stands, a mixture of fantasy and modern day and real family drama stuff, so deserves your time.
So that's the show for this week. My question to you this week is, are you reading and enjoying any of the Archie stuff that has been recently published? I guess let's talk about Afterlife with Archie, or Archie vs. Predator, or the Archie series, the relaunch by Mark Waid and Fiona Staples. And by the time you see this video, you may have, in fact, in your sweaty palms, Archie vs. Sharknado. What do you think? Is Archie, do you like what they're doing? Does it intrigue you? Has it encouraged you to pick up an Archie comic that maybe you would not normally have? I'm really curious to see if their efforts are paying off with you, the readers. With us in the shop, normally, under normal circumstances, I would not read Archie vs. Sharknado, but the kitsch factor and the fact that I should know what I'm talking about since I work in a comic shop made me check it out. So, are you checking out the new Archie stuff, and what do you think of it? If you haven't, why not? Thank you for participating in our straw poll last week about Valiant. We saw that several of you are reading and enjoying Valiant. Some of you are kind of staying away from it because of the price point. But as we've said many times, I think Valiant is worth circling back and checking out, at least in their $9.99 trade paperback format, which is great. So that's it for this time. We will see you soon. Thanks for watching.